Hi, everybody. Welcome again to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam's away, but we've got a pretty good replacement, I think. Chris Bloom, who's a tennis coach at CHS. Welcome, tennis.
Thanks for having me.
Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. You haven't got anything to do, have you, right now?
Right now, no. I'm kind of in an off season, so taking a little break.
But you had a boys season that I know you want to talk about.
Yeah, we had a very successful season. It was a long season, which is always good when you're coaching.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a very good season this year.
Right. You had a senior that went pretty far in the postseason.
Well, as a team, we ended up winning regionals, which was the first time in school history. And so, yeah, we were able to go to Center Grove and lost to Terre Haute North up there, which was a very experienced team. That was a good team, ranked 6th in the state. But we accomplished a lot this year that I wouldn't say was unexpected, but it took a lot of work to get where we were.
Yeah.
So.
And you had one boy go to?
Well, we didn't have anybody advance out past what we did as a team.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the Parsley boy was.
No, Gavin. He lost early in the sectional, but he avenged a loss at the regional against a kid that had beat him twice already in the season. So that was a big deal.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, he had a very good season.
Yes, he did.
He's in the 4 years that I've coached, he by far had the best year of anybody at one singles that I had.
Okay.
He went 17-8, and we've not been able to, what I say, would hold that spot consistently. And so he did a great job, and he did that. And that's something that helps you be successful when your top player's winning.
Sure, sure. How do you determine who plays singles and who's doubles, and how's that determined?
They play each other, and they basically win the spots that they're going to play. Typically, if they play each other, that'll help determine the singles lineup. And typically what we do is they earn a spot in the doubles lineup, and we kind of place them as we see that they should be fit.
I see.
We can juggle that around a little bit, but when you decide your one doubles and two doubles, your one doubles team has to be able to beat your two doubles team. So they have to challenge each other, and that's the way you prove that your lineup is not stacked.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How many players can you have on a team? Is there a limit?
There's not a limit. We can keep as many as we want.
Okay.
There's only 7 varsity spots, so there's not many for the kids to try to earn. And like this year, we had quite a bit of freshmen come out, and so we're as they're inexperienced because most of them haven't played tennis before, and we're not looking to cut very often because we don't have a feeder program yet, and that's the next step for us is to get middle school going. But with all those freshmen, now they have a taste of something we've never done, which was win the regional, and they're all excited and wanting varsity spots, which the goal is that everybody wants that, and they'll go out and work and compete for those. But tennis is probably one of the easier sports on decision making because they earn what they get and they beat each other out, and it's not really at my decision making.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You have the boys in the fall, the girls in the spring, right?
Yep. So we're gonna get ready to get started on some stuff for girls season coming up. There's not a lot that can be done with rackets and things, but we have some that are already going out and doing some stuff on their own and heading over to Hamilton to get some indoor work. And that's always good because most of the surrounding areas that we play, they get out and their girls are there all the time. And so we got some ground to make up there, but yeah.
So the field house will help you when it's completed, that you can use it?
It should give us some space. We'll be able to put a tennis net in.
Good.
The court itself will not be a tennis court surface, so that makes a big difference. But, I mean, we'll have some room that they'll be able to hit and see what their ball is doing, but we won't be able to really rally back and forth too much because just the surface is going to be too slick and quick when you play on that multi-purpose kind of floor. It doesn't grip the ball like a tennis court would. So,
Yes.
but it gives us space, so it'll be good. And yeah,
I'm sure it'll get a lot of use from a lot of the sports programs.
yeah, that's the
You
plan.
may have to stand in line, Chris,
Yeah.
to get a spot.
Yeah, Brent's going to have his work cut out, making sure the schedule works.
But our outdoor facility there at the school was just a couple of years ago. It was renovated, and it's one of the top ones, I would think.
Yeah, I like our course better than anybody else's, but it's probably because they're ours. But I enjoy. They've been redone, and that was within the last. Well, I took over 4 years ago, and they were redone right before I took over. So, yeah, they're in good shape. They're nice, and not all the teams that we play have the luxury of having that, and they're pretty expensive to renovate. So it's not easy to get that done. Right. So, but we're thankful.
And then Roberts Park is improving their courts, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to put in. Well, they're redoing them. From what I understand, is they're going to make 2 of them tennis courts, and they're going to make a couple more pickleball courts, which kind of hurts. It'd be nice if they would make them all tennis courts and kept them that way, and then we could have possibly held middle school up there. But it's nice that they're redoing them because it gives another place for our kids to go play.
So you're progressing in the middle school, trying to get a program started there?
That's what the plans are for next year, is that we're going to try to get that off and running and give kids an opportunity to learn the basics before they get to high school, because that's what most of our freshmen, when they come in, if they don't have family that plays, they lack just a knowledge of picking a racket up and using it the correct way. And that goes a long way with competing, because you want to hit a ball a certain way, and if you just have never done it, it takes some time to learn it, and that's what we battle.
Well, it'll be really nice to have a feeder program. I was wondering where your players come from, and you've answered the question here that nowhere.
They don't. I mean, I have a lot of relationships that are built because I teach PE at Eastview and Maplewood, and I used to coach middle school basketball, so I would ask kids to play and try to convince them into it. And each year I just basically start telling the kids, you need to go get your friends to come. We're trending in the right direction, obviously, and kids are enjoying it. And that's kind of what we want it to be about, is that we're competitive, but we enjoy our time out there because they work a lot harder when they enjoy themselves. And so I do a little bit of recruiting, try to get the kids in there, but we now have the players that want to get others in there to be a part of it.
Sure. How many matches do you have?
We're allowed to have 22 opportunities to play in a season, so that can range from a dual match, which is just playing another school, to tournaments, which we play. We have our own invite, and we play twice on that day. And then the Richmond invite, you get 3 chances to play. And then same thing for our conference, which will get 3 opportunities to play. And then if they rain out, you lose an opportunity unless you can fill it otherwise. So dual matches this year, we went 11-5, so we played 16 opponents, which was a better record than we had last year. So it's different. Like, we had Jonah Graham this year played 27 times. He played the maximum opportunities because he advanced to the championship in a couple of our tournaments. And not all of our kids did that, so they didn't get that chance to get all those matches. So they may have played a couple less, which kind of stinks in a way, but that's just how ours works.
You mentioned Jonah. He's also a basketball player, and you have some basketball players on your team. And I guess that's good for him to be a basketball player and play tennis.
Yeah, I think that multiple sports is never going to hurt someone, especially if they work hard and they dedicate themselves to improving in the off season. And the footwork that goes into tennis when they're doing it correctly and playing at a high level is only beneficial because they do a lot of that stop and start and that multiple direction movements. And I think that it does help. And we do have a lot of basketball players, and which
Sure.
are some of our best athletes, which isn't a bad thing. And
I'm sure Kerry Brown appreciates the work you give him to keep him in shape. And by the way, do tennis players hit the weight room and things like that, or no?
they typically will take APC if they do hit the weight room. We do a lot more footwork and core work than we do anything else
Okay.
to work on just speed and agility. But no, the weight room works well for them because they need to build some strength in their
Sure.
bodies as they're growing. But most of them get that in APC throughout the day, so
Okay.
we don't have to spend that extra time doing our weightlifting.
What do you look for in a tennis player, and is it different in the boys and the girls, or?
I don't think it's different. I mean, some people might, but I don't think it's different. I want an athlete that's going to be dedicated to what they do, enjoy what they do, and are always willing to learn and not shut down.
Okay. And you want them to do well in the classroom?
Oh yeah, yeah. Since I've been coaching, I haven't had to deal with or help kids get through their classes just to pass or anything. We've had a pretty good run at our athletes getting the stuff done in class and taking
Good.
care of that first, which they know that if they can't do that, then they're not going to hit the court. So that's very important, and they get that from all their sports. So
Well, they're students first, as we always say, student athletes.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Who helps you coach, Chris?
Bill Wilhoit's my assistant. He helps with boys and girls. And most people know Bill had 3 daughters that were pretty good at tennis, and so
Yeah, just a little, right?
he's a good compliment, and he gives us a lot of experience, and he wants the boys to do and girls to do well, just like I do. So
Yes, that's great. You're dedicated, and I keep saying coaches aren't nearly paid enough. I mean, if you looked at what you guys make per hour, it's not very much.
no, it's not. But I mean, we say this all the time, and hopefully it's for most people. But
Sure.
coach because I love the kids and enjoy the relationships and seeing them grow and see their successes and love seeing them be excited about
Yes.
what they do and become confident, and that's what it's about. And it would be nice to be paid more, which everybody would enjoy. But if you didn't take your passion from the other things, then it wouldn't be worth your time. So
Who was your coach in school?
when I played, Michael Thompson was my tennis
Okay,
coach.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's coached a few things at the high school.
Sure. Well, I know that people really appreciate the dedication and that you and Bill put into these tennis players, and I know they appreciate it. And I'm sure they tell you that they do and things. And you guys want to turn out good, solid citizens when they leave high school and have a good foundation as they move on in life.
Yeah. When I tell at the end of the season, I talk to all the parents and the kids together, and we just kind of do our end of year wrap up. We really, at least I like to spend time and talk about the change that some of our athletes have seen throughout the year, their careers. And I spent time talking about my seniors this year, and to me, it's more if you can see them grow as an individual person. Like Dylan Bennington was one that came in, and told the story multiple times that we weren't sure he could make it through 4 years. We weren't sure, and he ends up being one of the probably a great leader for our team, one that was determined to just get the job done on the court. But that came with a lot of growing up off the court and becoming passionate about something and making sure that they were on time to do stuff and making sure they were to be counted on. And that's not always something that they're used to doing. Sometimes they're just, as teenagers, they just go do what they do.
Absolutely.
And don't really think about what's involved with that. And that was kind of a great success story, and that there's a lot of change there, and that he found something that he enjoyed, but he was also then dedicated to it, and that helped him off the court. So
I know that makes a coach feel good when they see that kind of a transformation in kids.
Yeah, and when it's not that, I mean, I say surprise. It's not, I mean, you spend time trying to reach every athlete and try to get the most out of them, because you want to see, one, your team be successful, but you really want them to be successful as individuals, because it goes a long way in life to see that success translate into other things. Because if you're always failing all the time, it's hard to see the light that can come at the end of the tunnel. And that's kind of what I told parents. More than anything, the wins will take care of themselves if we do what we're supposed to, and we're taking care of business on the court in practice and things like that, and getting better in the off season. But to me, if I can see them change from their freshman year to senior year, if that's how long I have them, or for the year, if we can see change individually and them off the court, then I've done my job. And if I don't see any change, then I didn't do a good job of reaching my athletes.
Parents are so important in supporting their kids, aren't they?
Oh, I mean, if we're going to be successful, our parents are on board.
Absolutely.
If our parents aren't on board, we're not successful. And I've seen that even as a young coach, when I started coaching middle school basketball and just gradually doing other things. But I started to notice that the more that I was able to get the parents to buy in and get their respect, the more that I got the athlete's ear, and they would listen and they would do what was asked of them, and they'd do anything for you at that point because the parents supported it also. And I thank all my parents after every season just for the support they give, and that I know that it's not easy at times when their son or their daughter's not doing as well as they think they should, and they think things might need to be done differently. But I thank them for allowing me to keep coaching through the adversity and let them to listen to somebody other than them. And I believe that parent support goes a lot further than most people think.
Yes,
So,
right. Might take a look at this sports schedule for CHS. This week, Monday, boys freshman basketball, CHS gym with Greensburg. On Tuesday, the CHS wrestlers welcome Knightstown and Union County to the CHS gym at 6 o'clock. That's start. On Wednesday, basketball Spartans meet Union County at Spartan Bowl in the season's first game. Junior varsity game at 6, the varsity at 7:30. On Saturday, the wrestling team at Homestead, that's at Fort Wayne. Start time at 9 o'clock in the morning. Boys basketball at Spartan Bowl with Delta. Games start at 6 and 7:30 Saturday night. The middle school basketball, Monday, boys red team meets Greensburg at Spartan Arena. Tuesday, the boys white team meets Franklin County, a 5:30 start at Spartan Arena. Quite a bit going on for a holiday weekend, and Union County comes to Connersville Wednesday, and the roof goes off Spartan Bowl, and we're underway, right?
Yeah, it's an exciting time of the year.
Yes.
Basketball trumps all here in Connersville, so
that's right. Everybody
gets to go out and finally get excited about what they love. And we got a good team this year, and one that's going to be very competitive and very tough to beat.
Yeah, I think everybody's been looking forward to this year with the number of kids we had back from last year, and the excellent freshmen and JV teams of years past.
Yeah, we've got a good mix coming in, and it'll be exciting to see. And I've coached some of the boys that'll be playing this year, and it'll be nice to see them in their senior season, what they can do. Because I remember when we had them, there was a lot of talk about how good this class could be, and so they've put in the time, and a lot of them dedicated their careers to basketball
Mm-hmm.
and didn't do other sports. And so I hope that they come out and have a great season
Right.
and really show what all that work has done.
And we got a sectional for the first time in a long time, so that's good. We don't have to travel away
Yeah.
to play in the tournament. So
And we'll be able to get here early to get parking spots, so that'll be good.
that's a good reminder, right?
Beat the crowd there, but I think our gym is going to be just a great atmosphere for a sectional, especially with it pretty much being the EIAC.
Right.
So
Yeah, the teams we play.
they'll travel well, I think, and it's going to be a good sectional.
Oh, I think
to be a part of.
it will be. It'll be an exciting time. Yeah. Chris, we might look at what's coming up at Lucas Oil this Saturday. I know it's probably only 8 schools in Indiana that are really still excited about football, but it's the finals coming up, the state finals, and Friday and Saturday. Here's the lineup in Class A, and that game will be Friday at noon. It is 11-3 Lafayette Central Catholic versus 13-0 Indianapolis Lutheran. At 3:30 on Friday, it'll be Class 3A, 18-1 Indy Bishop Chatard against 14-0 Heritage Hills. I'm sorry, and at night on Friday at 7 o'clock, it'll be Class 5A, 13-0 Valparaiso versus 13-0 New Palestine. New Palestine's really the only team we're familiar with around here.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard hardly of any of these other ones, of course. And then on Saturday at 12 noon, Class 2A, it'll be 12-2 at noon. Eastbrook versus let's see, it is. Gosh, I don't think I've got that written down. I forget who that is. It'll be in the game at 2:30. It'll be 14-0 East Noble versus Evansville Memorial. They're 12-1 on the season. And in Class 6A, it'll be at 7 o'clock on Saturday. 10-2 Carmel versus 8-5 Center Grove. Well, we've heard of Carmel, I guess. Every so often they make the football history, I guess. They must have a big room for trophies and.
Well, they've got enough students that they could.
Well, that's true. They could three or four teams probably.
They could probably have 3 or 4 teams. Yeah.
But it'll be an exciting time. But that's the end of high school football for this year on Friday and Saturday is the state finals this week. So I know it's a lot of 8 schools out of the hundreds that play football. We've got the 8 that are left. So we'll see what happens come this weekend. The girls, what about we haven't talked much about the girls other than early, you commented on them, but what kind of a season are you expecting, and how do you think we'll do in the EIAC in tennis?
Last year, like I said, we had a decent season, which we had a lot of girls that were playing new spots and learning a lot, and so we have a full year under their belts of what comes with competing at a high level. So this year, I mean, it's hard to say for me exactly how record-wise what we could do, but I expect us to be competitive and take some of those matches that we were on the losing end and find a way to win those matches. So in the EIAC, it's pretty tight every year. You've got teams that are always good. I mean, Greensburg's good. It's the same as the boys. But,
yes.
And then you've got East Central. We played Lawrenceburg last year, and their girls' team's pretty good. It's a highly competitive matches every time you step on the court in the IAC. So it's probably it's up for grabs. And you have to play well for those 7 matches that you're going to get, and make sure you are on top of your game. But the girls, we returned quite a bit. We lost 2 seniors last year, and so those, like we talked about earlier, the spots are open, but it's really any spot because they don't get to just keep their spots from the year before. They have to earn them again. So we don't just allow our one singles player just to be the one singles player. But if they earn that spot,
That's
they get
good.
it, and that gives incentive for the other girls to keep working and try to get a spot that they want, and hopefully that gives us some depth. So
Is their season as long as the boys?
they're actually relatively short, so we're looking at just a couple months of actual once the season starts to the end. So the matches are packed in pretty quick once they start, and so rain dates aren't really good because it's hard to find spots to fill them in.
Sure.
But, we're I think they're good because they don't drag out. I think that sometimes our sports feel like they can just keep going and going, and you have to have that mental toughness to stick with it in the third month, fourth month
Yes.
of a season,
Yes.
which it's part of it. But sometimes that dragging it out can have an effect on an athlete.
The girls start early in August, don't they? Or
No, the boys are in August.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the spring, but
And we combined our girls and boys workouts this year. So they all worked together, played and did some stuff together, which was beneficial to help the girls program see high or better competition throughout the summer. And but no, we start. There's restrictions on our workouts and stuff.
Okay.
And so we'll start here soon on some of the girls stuff and some indoor stuff.
and their matches are in April and May. Is that most?
We will start in April. Yeah,
Okay.
practices will. I have to check dates, but probably
Sure.
start around spring break, and then we'll start matches in April
Right.
and end in middle of May.
Yes.
So
It is a quick schedule.
Yep.
Since you mentioned that, and then the tournaments began, and we go. Do we ever? Yeah, we have a sectional here, don't we?
we host sectional.
Okay, and then we go to Richmond for the regional.
Richmond for the regional.
Okay, and then what happens?
I'm not sure if they switched the host sites for girls right now for semi-state, but it's either going to be like a Center Grove or a North Central. One of those two areas probably is where you go.
How do you handle a sectional? Is it several matches? I mean, how many
You
teams?
play. There's 4 teams in our sectional.
Oh, okay.
You play. I think on girls we play on a Wednesday. If you win, you play on Friday in the championship. Boys is a Thursday, Saturday turnaround. So it's one match
Okay.
each day.
I see.
So,
Well, it's always interesting, and there's seating area for fans to come and watch you guys.
yep, we have bleachers. We have benches on the side. So there's plenty of room. You can bring chairs, sit on the side of our courts, and that's one thing that's more people are coming out to watch. People that used to be around tennis are starting to come out. So there's a lot of excitement.
That's good.
There's a lot for us to keep working on and hope to repeat what we did, which is never a guarantee. And there's a lot of good teams returning a lot of players next year. So.
When you start practicing, how long does a practice session usually last?
When we practice, about 2.5 hours early
Really?
in the season. And then we kind of, once we get mid-season, we start cutting back because of all the matches and stuff. So hit on the big things and move on and play the matches.
Well, I know you're optimistic about next season. It sounds as though you got a lot of students, players coming back, both boys and girls.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun season for you guys after the Spartans win the state in basketball. Why? We'll see if you guys can match that when tennis starts. Chris, it's been a real pleasure to have you here, and best of luck with your tennis crew.
Thank you.
Chris Bloom's been our guest, everybody, and Chris, we want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving coming up here, and that's same for all of our viewers. We hope that they have a great holiday season. And once again, thanks everybody for joining us here on this edition of Spartan Sports Report, and have a nice evening.